Good morning. How are you doing, people? This is the Space Junkie Takeover. This is the regular Space Junkie Takeover on every Mondays. And this is gonna be me, Szabi, who's not Felix. And I got David here, who's also not Felix. How are
Yeah,
you
that's
doing?
right. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, everyone is okay. And yeah, it's good to be back.
Indeed, and we are not Peter. Okay, that was a joke for an early start, but I hope everybody gets the Rocket Lab joke. Anyway, before we do that, we always urge you to keep on watching the 24/7 stream because today a static fire is imminent, so it can happen basically anytime. The tanks are not getting, or the tank farm is not getting ready just yet, but it will, or it might happen at some point later on. So stay tuned. And also, Tuesdays and Fridays, Felix is coming with the regular episode. So please stay tuned to those ones. But in these Monday talks, we always take over for about an hour and we just chat about fun stuff we fancy. So let's just start with an eye candy because we've got a video for you. But first of all, a photo for you. You must see. So this photo was taken by Andrew McCarthy. He is an amazing photographer, and he took an amazing hydrogen alpha telescope with him to Florida, and he captured a Falcon 9 transiting the disk of the sun. And I think it's truly, truly amazing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's a good catch. And it's not AI generated, it's not CGI, it's a real and valid photo.
Yep, and it's coming from a actual video. I will drag this for you here. So just to convince all these skeptics, this is how it looked like. Yeah, this is incredible. So alone, the sun looks amazing through a hydrogen alpha telescope, but with a rocket on it, I think two of my favorite hobbies are combined together on this video. So yeah, definitely look up Andrew McCarthy. He is really amazing. Okay, so enough of the eye candies, and we are going to start at Messi's, right?
Yeah, so
Actually,
hmm?
sorry. Before we begin, we're gonna do some Starship. We're gonna cover some of the developments, and also for the second half or one third of the show, we're gonna cover what kind of rocket's gonna be going. Hopefully in 2026 and possibly a rover, but this is just a brief highlight. So yeah, let's kick off. Massies.
All right. So yeah, what we can see currently at the live camera that it's already just a bit sign that they are ramping up the GSC, but that's all. So we can't expect the static fire during our show. Unfortunately, there was some hope that they will come to the stage until we are starting or until we are live, but it seems we had we have to wait for a bit.
Hold on.
So
Let me just call Elon to actually hurry up
yeah, please,
because
just please hurry up a bit
they have
because
54 minutes to ramp it up. So let me just
yeah,
call
they
him.
yeah they can test the GSC at least how quick they can ramp up everything. Okay,
Exactly for the Y viewers.
yeah, just for us. So yeah, we can see the message outpost on this flyover photo, and
In a
actually,
second.
yeah, in a second. So yeah, in previously there were some tests, and we will talk about only about the test tanks today. So not with the new infrastructure because yeah, maybe it's not so exciting. Rather, we can talk about the old and the new test tank, and starting with the old one, so which is in the cage currently, and still, it's the B18.1, or with the other name, the test tank 17, which has a pretty long carrier already. So it's already, I don't know how many months in the cage, but of course there was some break because of the reconstruction of the GSE because of it was harmed as well after the static fire blow up of ship 36. Anyway, so they had to wait until they could return to this ground test of this test tank. But in total, I guess they have made about 10, at least 9 or 10 tests with these particular test tanks. So it withstand quite a lot. Um, Struggling, if I can say that. So, but during the last test, which was last week, it seemed to be popped out on the side on its side, but it's quite strange that it's quite a fresh flyover photo and it's still in the cage. So that's why we can think about, or we can think that maybe it's not destroyed entirely, because you can see at least from this angle that it's quite still intact. But watching this footage from NASA spaceflight, that's the last test from last week, and yeah, of course it seems quite energetic and quite intense, but it's because of the volume of the nitrogen which is coming out from the test tank. So it was popped on its side, but it wasn't blow up. So that's a good sign. And of course, we don't know whether it was intentional test to failure or it was damaged somehow. But anyway, it's still quite in a good shape, and maybe they can continue the tests if they want. But which is more important, that behind this cage there is a new resident of this site, which is the B18.3 test tank, which has a entirely different reason to be here, because as you can see, the new hot staging, let's say, ring or interstage is on this new test tank. So it seems to be, but of course nobody knows for sure, but it seems that they want to test the forward section of the version 3 boosters, which includes, of course, these entirely redesigned hot stage, or I don't know how to call it better. So yeah, they want to simulate the stress and the forces what will just loaded on this area during ascent phase, during max Q. So, and on or the other option that they want to test this housing of the aero or the grid fins, sorry, grid fin actuators, because as you all know, or hopefully most of you know, that the base of this redesign, they put actually the entire actuator system of the grid fins inside the methane tank, and it's quite interesting and maybe a bit strange solution, but decided to go this way, and maybe they want to test this housing as well. So yeah, this new test tank arrived on this massive test site, but as we have seen, it's not staged to the exact cage yet, and it has to wait for a bit. All right, so I guess we
Cool.
can move to the production site.
Let's move to the production site.
And we have already covered a bit last week this strange tank which was visible already in the last couple of days, and still nobody knows what's going on and what's the purpose of this test tank, or it's not a test tank, it's actually a tank, and what is to be sure, or seems to be sure, that it's somehow related to the boosters, because it was moved to the Mega Bay 1 where the boosters are constructed. So that's the only thing what we know, that it's not for any ship but for the boosters. And I guess that's all what we can make sure, because yeah, as I mentioned, nobody knows what's the purpose of this existing tank. And some people think that it's somehow based on a redesigned header tank or a landing tank, but yeah, that's all what we can talk about. So nothing is sure, and the main problem that nobody has seen actually where it goes. So there is a render of a 3D engineer guy, but I think it's only a fantasy render from him. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's not 100% sure that it's the current design of the booster, of the version 3 booster. And to be frank, it's quite strange design. And of course, the engineers had the the reason why they want to put like that, if it's true, to say again, because it's not official, confirmed. But anyway, if it's the figure, then it's quite strange, to, yeah, to my and for my opinion, from my opinion. So yeah, what do you think, Sabi, about this one?
I honestly have no idea. It looks so strange, and I can't think of a real purpose. I mean, I'm sure there is one, but it occupies so much space. Um, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Mm.
I let them surprise me.
Yeah, maybe that's the that's the wise thing, or the
Yeah,
more wise way.
yeah.
Okay, anyway,
We'll see.
so because of we can't talk about too much, we can move on. And
Yeah, let's float around a bit first, or let's test first. Which
what
one
do
do
you
you
mean?
want to do? Do you want to test some pad 2, or you want to float on a barge?
Let's float on a barge.
Let's float on a barge. All right, there we
Yeah,
go.
because last week there was a quite interesting news that the new barge was put on
Barging.
water. Yeah. And yeah, it's not a drone ship, not a fourth drone ship of the Falcon 9 fleet, but it's a barge which will be used for transportation of ships and boosters, so first and second stages from the Starbase to Florida. And of course, the first question, which is most of the time raised from people, that okay, and how they will transport these quite big stages, so horizontally or vertically. And maybe the solution will be that even that it wasn't it didn't happen before, so we haven't seen any, either neither ships nor boosters horizontally. They will transport them somehow, like this, in this position, because maybe even if we talk about the booster, if they are transporting vertically, maybe it's too dangerous and it's too risky. And that's why they decided that they can figure out somehow that's still maintaining the pressure inside the tanks, because otherwise they would just collapse from the two inside. And maybe they don't want it, and that's why they have to find a solution to maintain the pressure inside. But even that, but anyway, they can transport more stages at one time. So that will be a quite good sign when the first transportation will be sent out from the starbase.
I find it extremely strange because till this moment, basically, the word was that it cannot be laid down. So no ship, no booster can be laid down. It's impossible. But as the Starship program progressing, I kind of discovering that things are just temporary. Um, Even though that one thing is standing at some points, soon we are finding out that no, they can work it out if they have to. So if they are forced to actually find a solution for something, and this whole thing was this kind of idea was aired by Elon Musk. He tweeted, I think, this photo. I think he was tweeting this one, or maybe
Did
not.
he?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
Strange.
remember.
It doesn't matter. There are some better renders from now on, which shows that exactly what's gonna happen. Am I remembering correctly that first they gonna send just one test
Yeah.
article, either a ship or a booster, and
Hmm.
then if it it succeeds, then they might send some multiple articles in one batch.
Yeah, so it's quite wise that they don't want to put everything what they have in stock at the starbase, and they
Yeah.
just they just lose everything during the way. So yeah, they start with one. I think that will be a booster because previously there was a news, or it wasn't maybe publicly announced, that maybe this the first stage at all, which will depart from Starbase, not in the air but on water, will be the booster 22, and it will be the first booster which will send to Florida. But yeah, that was quite a long time ago, and maybe they decided to change their mind already. So anyway, this barge has a name, of course, and it is the you will thank me later. You'll thank me later. It's the name of it, and
I
it's
love
quite a
these
big
names.
because the deck size is 91.4 meters, and the width is 30 meters, so more than 30 meters. So it's quite a big barge.
So is this bigger than the usual Marmac drone ships? So I the
I
existing three ships.
I think it's a bit bigger.
Uh-huh. Because if I go back to the photo, we can see written on the side Marmac 308, I think.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever been to Port Canaveral or just watched enough or enough amount of drone ship footages or photos, then you know that this Marmac is written on the side of every single drone ships. So they are coming from the same bunch, but probably this is bigger. Yeah,
No, you'll be surprised, but it's almost the same size.
identical. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just looked for a shortfall of Gravitas, which is the newest drone ship for the Falcon fleet, and it's 90 meters long and 40 meters wide. So actually, almost the same.
Almost identical.
Yeah,
Okay. Definitely it's good to see that they are working
it's
on
huge.
huge. They are absolutely working on good solutions because at some I mean up until the Giga Bay is not online, that's the only way to do that. And yeah, let's see how they withstand. To be fair, they definitely gonna be pressurized for sure. But let's see. I mean, they are serious about it, so I guess yeah. Yeah.
Exciting times coming, so it's good for us
Indeed.
because at least something happens which wasn't seen before.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, Sabolciari was pointing out that the render is made with the previous booster. Well
Yeah.
spotted. Indeed, it is. So this is the Gen 2 booster. But I think it's the Gen 3 ship, I think. Yeah, it's the
It's
modified one,
it's
isn't
hard
it?
to say because it's
Not
maybe
because it
the
makes a
there is
difference.
there is only a
Um,
small difference between the Block 2 and 3 versions of the ships. Of
mhm.
course,
You
the
see, I
booster
think
has
it's
much
moved.
bigger changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
anyway,
yeah, but well spotted. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's see. In the meantime, I think the Pope vent is on, isn't it? So the tank farm is not active yet, just
it's just
yet.
ramping up now currently.
Mm-hmm,
But we are
mm-hmm,
still at
mm-hmm,
the very beginning phase
mm-hmm.
of the cooling down phase. So they have
Yeah.
to just everything just prepare
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
to the later tanking.
Yeah. Okay. Thank me.
So
Thank me later.
you'll thank me later, yeah.
All right.
So we can move
Let's
to pet two.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me just put a nice photo, aerial photo, because the Y team just did a fly around,
Hmm.
um, fly
It was
over
quite
around
pretty weather.
Starbase. Yeah, it's beautiful. It was actually pretty nice, and we got some closer look. Yeah, Pet 2 is coming together. I mean, this is the
Hmm.
current. This is so up to date. This is exactly the current configuration, and yeah, they did some cool tests lately.
Yes, so they are moving on with the construction of the pet 2, and it's a good sign that they started to check the systems. And yeah, there were some water deluge system tests last week, which were quite intense. Even maybe the third one, so the last one was the most intense. If you just see behind the tower this big venting, and
I
it's
would just call it a geyser.
Mhm.
Yeah, here, look, it's when
Yeah.
it's gonna restart again. This is like, that's a good sign. We will know when the pad is off. When
Yeah, and
it's
just look at the vapor or water vapor coming out from the or under from the OLM.
yep.
So just look at the energy coming out from it, and it's only water, so nothing else. So you can imagine what kind of what kind of sight will be when a Starship will be just launched from here. And
Yes.
just look at the forces and energies. I can that proves the most, and it's already
Absolutely.
here. If you can just stop it a bit, it's already at the half of the tower, but there was a third or the last test just a couple of minutes later.
Okay, so, hold on. What do you mean half of the tower? What?
You mean the geyser?
Oh,
I
okay.
mean that
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
tower,
yeah, yep,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bit tower
Mm-hmm.
behind the tower.
Yep.
So that shows that it's quite
Sorry,
energetic.
I'm a bit tired. Okay, no, no, no,
But there
no.
was an
That's enough.
even bigger or even a test with even bigger
I'm not
pressure.
sure if it's this one. Is it this one?
Yeah, that's look. It still goes up, and that's the peak,
I
almost
think
the
I think
almost
they
the top of the
found I
tower.
think they found some oil.
Yeah, the Ewing's just coming.
Yes.
So yeah, it's almost the top of the tower, and it's more than 140 meters. Just imagine it. So so what kind of pressure can
No,
be
but I
in
mean,
the and
yeah,
just
I
look at it,
mean,
it's coming out from the entire launch side, so
I
the
would
barrier
be
is
so
just
curious that on what percentage the whole system was on. Yeah.
maybe I would say near of 100%. Maybe they can just ramp it up even more, but if it's the maximum, maybe it's it's satisfying to see.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, so I would be so curious about what is, let me point it out. One sec. So yeah, so this is the guys here, and next to it, there is some really dirty sort of spray, well,
Hmm.
jet, or I don't know what to call it, but you will see it in a second. I will mark it. I'd be curious that what exactly that is. Chat, if you have any idea, just let us know. Okay, so not yet,
Maybe it's
not
the
yet.
wastewater of the toilet.
Yeah, but it's a lot. I know a lot of people working there, but look that one. Yeah, look, it's like reddish. It's like
It's a bit
muddy.
rusty.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Probably it's because they're using it for the kind of first time.
Maybe
Um,
that was a purge process, and that was
nah,
the
but
first time
that
they.
okay. I've never seen that kind of you know, vent. Anyway, it's just one thing that we
Yeah,
did
but
not see. That
they use gaseous
it's just
nitrogen,
mhm.
nitrogen
Gaseous,
for
gaseous.
gaseous, thanks,
Mm-hmm.
gaseous nitrogen for pressurizing up the system. So maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
how some colorized nitrogen we can see, but I'm not sure because I'm not an
Mm-hmm.
engineer.
Yeah, Sabi might be
So
right in the chat. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess for pressurizing the water. Yeah, I think so. That's the correct answer. It.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's good sign. And if I don't know whether we have an angle from the side of the trench.
I am not entirely sure. I've got some photos from
If don't, it's not a problem.
further away. No, no.
Just one sentence that they are almost finishing
Oh.
the covering of this quite big bunker, if I can call it
Mm-hmm.
like that. And yeah, maybe the last big piece which is missing, the ship QD arm, which is not it, which wasn't installed yet, but maybe it's that will be the very last thing they will put up on the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not. Of course, it's not necessary to do it. Uh, now because there is no ship to put on it yet. So yeah, but they step by step they are going to the um, finish line, or they running because they are quite in a good pace to finish this quite big and much more different pad like pad 1. So yeah, and we can move to the pad 1 because it's still occupied by the ship 38.
We got a photo closer showing the Pele from a closer point of view. So this is the current state, and obviously we are
Yeah,
waiting for the static fire to ramp up. That's a big question if it's gonna happen during the show or after. But definitely stay tuned because here
definitely
you
after.
can watch it on a 24/7 stream. Just one more thing that I wanted to point out is that this what air separation unit is
Mm,
getting there,
yeah.
so the construction is on the way, and yeah, and the beach goers are going to the beach and beach going, so yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
this ASU is quite strange based on the based on the this land how it looks like. So, and to be frank, I don't know what are they building currently at the site, but yeah, they will know what they do.
Yeah.
So back to the pad 1. Yeah, it's still occupied by the ship, and maybe it's not the best case scenario because they wanted to conduct the static fire of the ship 2 times already. First time was Thursday and it was aborted, and the second attempt was on Friday and it was aborted as well. And yeah, it seemed both time they had to blame the GSC because as you all know, it's a quite strange and yeah, redesigned GSC to support the ship. So this OLM and this system is not for ship static fires, and that's because there are some problems coming up which wasn't predicted or expected. And yeah, I don't want to say they are struggling, but they want to just going through this last process of the ship static fire because it's how to say it. It's not the best way, or not the optimal way to test the ships, but they don't have any other opportunities or yeah, currently.
I don't want to say they are struggling, but they are struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the last time struggle because I mean,
Hopefully.
once they done with this, it's done. So
Yeah, but we have seen.
no more pad 1 at the current state. No more deluge as it is. No more
Yeah.
that kind of struggle.
Yeah, so yeah, we have seen previously by the ship 37 that they had to repeat the test because of some damage, at least by one of Raptors, but maybe they have to swap more of them. Yeah, we have talked about it, so I don't want to go in the details again. So yeah, they just want to run through this last ship static fire and just hope that they don't have to repeat it, and they can then um,
Finish. Yeah.
finishing everything, and they can prepare already for flight 11. But even the pace is quite good for now, based on the date of the flight 10, so they are in a good position still. So currently, or yeah, previously, so last week they planned, if they had to, they could conduct the static fire for the first time. So last Thursday, the plan was that maybe the flight 11 could come at the very early of October. So maybe on the 1st of October, maybe it's not a plan anymore because of this some days of delays. So anyway, but if they can launch until, I think, middle of October, then they are in a good position. And after it, there will be anyway some months of break because they have to figure out, of course, with the test articles, the new designs of the boosters and the ships. So the first V3s are not finished yet. Of course, as we could see, the Pet 2 isn't finished yet. Maybe it will be finished quite soon, so maybe in October, but it's only 1 point. And the third question, of course, is the Raptor 3, how they are proceeding with the development of the new engine. Maybe it's the biggest question now. But yeah, we will talk about it later. But I don't want to waste more time with this one now, but because we have other two topics. So yeah, we have to wait for the ship static fire, which will be hopefully conducted today. And yeah, after it, they can prepare for Flight 11, which hasn't currently a exact date.
Right. So in the chat, couple of people pointed out that the dark smoke was the exhaust from the Raptor turbo pump that pushes the water through the launch pad. Okay, so use a Raptor turbo pump, which is quite cool. And they burn methane, and that is the brown smoke. Thank you guys for helping us out. We learning with you, and some information is definitely new to us. I don't think they are rushing. To be fair, Pad 2 is nowhere near as ready, or the Generation 3 test articles. So even if they are late, then what? They will do it whenever they do it.
Yeah.
So they and yeah, and who said that? Let me just double check. Ellen Brady said that Flight 10 was remarkable. I can chime with that. Absolutely,
Yep.
Flight 10 was finally a flight for Generation 2 ship and booster that we all crave for since Flight 7.
Yeah, it
So
should have been the Flight 7 actually.
yeah, it matured on a yeah, it took some time to mature, but it got there, and definitely it's not a disastrous end for Block 2. But yeah, let's just move on then. Let's see. They just released some new flight corridors for the
Yeah.
orbital flights.
Yeah, so you can see, so the southwest corridor is the currently existing, but there is a new one which is facing to the east, or northeast, sorry, so towards Florida. So maybe not so long time later, some people in Florida could see a Starship launch, and yeah, but of course it's for the orbital flights already. So until it's still a suborbital flight and it's test flight, maybe they are using only the first corridor, which is the the southeast corridor. And there is another other figure actually. That's the first figure. And if you are moving to the figure 2 or figure, I don't know which
Let
one.
me let me figure it out.
Yeah, figure out. Yeah, that's the figure 2. Maybe that's the more exciting one because that shows the re-entry corridor of the ship, which shows actually, or which means the orbital trajectory, and yeah, it's yeah, I don't know how to comment it, but yeah, it's a good sign that the SpaceX guys have. Has this on one hand they have the plan already for the orbital flights, and of course on the other hand they issued it to the FAA to
To be
watch it.
fair, I cannot stop noticing that most of this corridor is occupying Mexican territory. Am I correct on that, or is
Yeah,
not? It,
yeah,
it is, isn't it?
there is a yellow border you can
Yeah.
see.
So I only wonder what Mexico has to say about this, because generously it's covering most of the area is Mexican. So if anything goes wrong, it's Mexico which will be hit, not the states. I'm just pointing it out. Probably it's all dealt with and it's all good. is just for me it's a bit strange. We know that from space shuttle flights, so they had to come back to Florida, right?
Mhm.
So they were coming back most likely like this, or probably maybe a little bit lower, but definitely because Texas is here. I mean, Starbase is here. They cannot come like this unless the flight trajectory is so. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, if it will be
I
a
just
polar orbit, then of course that will be the direction. But
Yeah, but from
for
Starbase they
now, yeah,
cannot launch to a polar orbit.
yeah, theoretically, I
Yeah,
I said
speaking.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's quite interesting that most of the
Indeed.
re-entry corridor is in Mexico or over Mexico, but
Indeed. Anyway, it's just something that it was worth pointing out. Okay, I think we are done with the Starship bit, but let me know if I'm wrong.
I think so.
Okay, so the second half, or well, the the third,
One third of the show or the last third of
yeah,
the
the
show.
last third of the show. Yeah, I got confused for a second. Lost in translation. We're gonna cover the rockets that is going to be introduced in 2026, because there are a few of them, and
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should all be pretty much happy about that, because I mean, they're gonna be a quite good show that's awaiting for us. So let's start with Rocket Lab, because they
Hmm.
have this rocket called Neutron, and it is an interesting concept. It's definitely not something that's
The
like the
hungry hippo.
traditional, yeah, the hungry hippo. That's not the traditional kind of rocket. As far as I know, this hippo size, so the bit that opens up on the top, it's two halves instead of
Yeah.
quarters,
Yeah,
right?
that's the very first design
Yep.
which was issued by
Actually, I
Rocket
have
Lab.
one. Yeah, this is the
Yeah,
current one.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's the second and latest.
Yep.
But even it's even now it's a quite interesting design, and I think nobody used this design before. So yeah, just a couple of words about Neutron. So yeah, it's a new Rocket Lab rocket. It will be a partially reusable medium lift and two stage launch vehicle. And yeah, the Rocket Lab has quite a good chance to introduce it quite still this year, but it will be very tight because yeah, they are aiming to introduce it still at the very end of this year. But that's why we are talking about rather 2026, because it's mostly sure that they can introduce this rocket next year. Yeah, of course. Compared to Starship, is every rocket is smaller, and like a dwarf. But yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a good sign that at least the American companies turned to the reusable
Hmm.
rocket design, because currently still the Falcon 9 is the only vehicle, not only in the US but on the entire world, which is partially reusable. And we could see in the last couple of years that mainly China had the Chinese companies had the decision to turn into direction of this reusable technology, but at least the Americans woke up from this from this angle.
I don't have to say that. No, 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 no. To be honest,
Or yeah,
US
better to
started
say
it,
they
so they are leading
yeah,
it at the moment, but is only.
yeah,
I mean,
they are now in the phase to introduce their rockets. Okay, let's
exactly
say that.
multiple of them. Yeah, exactly.
Because of course one day New Glenn will be reusable, as you all know, and it was actually introduced already this year, but there was still only one launch of it. So Blue Origin has some issues with the first stage. But anyway, it's still a reusable rocket, as well as the um, Neutron. So maybe it will ramp up everything. So the market, the and of course the other opportunities to launch some of the some or some kind of spacecrafts, or maybe satellites, or telescopes which are not existing because there wasn't an opportunity or option to launch them before, and now it can be a good turning up point, or how to say. So, and maybe Neutron will be one day a competitor of Falcon 9, because as you can see, um, not only the design but rather the size and the capabilities is quite in close of the Falcon 9. Of course, we don't know the exact launch cost. But yeah, we have to wait until some launches of Neutron, and until that we will be more clever.
Hmm.
Then we have
Okay.
another
Hmm.
American rocket. I don't know which will be the first one
I
or the
know.
second, the next one. Okay,
It's
Terranar
relativity. Yeah.
from Relativity Space, and yeah, they are quite in a good position in Florida or in Cape
Hold on, hold on,
Canaveral.
hold on. Before you hurry, sorry.
Okay.
So Neutron, just a good comment because they are absolutely spot on. Simon Blowen was writing. They copied James Bond. If you all remember to James Bond or to the Apollo era, Apollos used to have the Saturn rockets. They
Hmm.
used to have this opening mechanism, but then they ditched it and they throw away those opening
Yeah.
bits, the fairing cover, I think we can call that. So yeah, there is some resemblance. Okay, Terranar.
Yeah, so that's the second American rocket which can be introduced next year. So that's the Relativity Space new rocket. So they had already the Terran 1, but it had only a few launches. So they just moved on to the Terran R, which is the R is showing the reusability. So that's another reusable rocket. Um, so and this one, yeah, we haven't talked about, just one more sentence about Neutron, that it will be launched from Wallops Island, so not from Cape Canaveral. But yeah, Rocket Lab had this decision to made, that they had built up this new launch facility in Virginia. So yeah, back to the Relativity Space and Terranar rocket. It's a heavy lift. It's two stage rocket, and which means the low capacity will be more than 33 tons. So it will be a quite
Hmm.
strong rocket. Hopefully, it will be real someday, and yeah, as well as like the Starship, it uses methane and oxygen as propellant, and it will have actually 13, and it's quite strange and interesting that it will have 13 engines on the first stage and only one at the second stage. And yeah, we don't know the exact launch date or plan, but yeah, no earlier than 26, that's for sure.
And if you
And
mention the launch location, that's gonna be being launched from Florida.
yeah, that's the one of the American companies which are building currently their launch pads at the
Hmm.
Cape. To be frank, I don't know exactly, because I just mixing it up every time. Either LC16, or I don't know the other option. But anyway, somewhere around South Cape Canaveral. All right.
Yes.
So um, I
Okay.
don't know what to say about
The next one
next one.
is Astra, the one that flies sideways.
Okay. Yeah, the Space Y, the
Yeah.
Space Y rocket. Maybe all of you remember that the strange launch from the rocket
I
3.3.
I don't think they ever gonna get rid of this reputation. I mean, You don't really
So
see for the people who don't remember. So not all the engines were lit up. So they not all of them were functioning, and because of the thrust to waste ratio, as instead of going upwards, it could just lift up a bit and then started going sideways. And I think the rest is history.
yeah, yeah. So this rocket 3.3 had not a good history. So I
No.
guess if I'm correct, they had 4 launches, and from this 4 launch, only 2 was successful. And I don't want to hurt Astra, but even if they can't just figure out a good name for a rocket, just they call it a rocket, then
Yeah,
how
rocket for yeah.
rocket for a rocket? So it's too boring. So
It's if that would be the biggest problem, I think we could live with that. But
yeah,
yeah, the problem is that they
yeah.
have enough troubles and funding. I mean, there is a documentary, and I think what's his name,
Chris Camp
Chris Camp. Yeah, so he's a great entrepreneur, but somehow, I
and a
mean,
great showman, to be frank.
yeah. But I don't really understand how is it possible that they had two successful or partial successful
Yeah, no,
launches.
it 2 successful and 2 failures.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand that. How is it possible? I mean, usually the rockets, once they kind of nail it, then they don't start failing again. I mean, every now and then they have issues, but you kind of figured it out and then you just do it. That's not the
Yeah,
case
so
with
they
Astra.
almost went to bankruptcy, and
Yep.
then they just went to private. So and somehow survived, and now they have these quite ambitious plans
Yep.
to introduce a very big or much bigger rocket, and and I don't know from where, how they will fund it,
Hmm.
fund it, not found, but fund it. But it's not a problem for Fortune.
No, 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 no. There is one rocket type that one of our viewers recommended to mention, and I chime with Sabolch. That's RFA, Rocket Factory Augsburg.
Mhm.
Just to mention them, because this is one European provider, and they kind of getting close to having a successful attempt, or at least an attempt, but not
Yeah.
this year, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but of course, yeah, to be honest, we won't cover the European companies today, only
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
Americans,
Hmm.
and there will be one
And
Chinese rocket.
Chinese too.
Yeah, most of the Americans and one Chinese, yeah, and
Two
but
Chinese. Come on.
2 Chinese.
Yeah. The Long March and the
Oh yeah, yeah.
Zhuge.
I can't count them
That's all
anymore.
right. We are a team of two.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
anyway,
of course.
it's just the reason why I drag it into this,
Okay.
because we are talking about rockets that will be launched in most likely in 2026, and
Mhm.
just let's paint a full picture. Just two sentences. This is a European company. I think they're German,
Yeah, they are
French,
German.
German, just German. Yeah, and
Interesting, from Augsburg. That's the name, Rocket Factory Augsburg.
and yeah, promising.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Europeans are getting close finally. Not the ESA, because they are still sleeping. But the private companies starting to figure out somehow to ramp
Hmm.
up the European launch market, because we would need that so
Hmm.
much.
Hmm. And in the meantime, before we go to the last American company that will be introduced hopefully next year, we welcome Justin Hall in the supporter. So thank you for subscribing to What About It, and thanks for everybody who's doing so or smashing the like button. All right, the next one is Stoke Space. Very, very
Hmm.
promising
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
I so look forward to
One
this.
of my best, to be honest.
Very cool concept. Very cool concept.
Yeah, so Stoke Space, and this is the other company which is building their launchpad at the Cape,
Hmm.
and they will have the rocket called Nova. which will be a fully reusable rocket, and it's a medium lift launch vehicle. So that means not only the first but the second stage will be reusable, like the Starship one day, hopefully.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's quite of one of its designs. So of course we can talk about a lot of partial reusable rocket, but that will be a fully one. And there were some quite good tests previously with the second stage already.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a quite promising design, as Sabi mentioned. So um, yeah, it's using again metalox, so methane and oxygen in both stages, and again it can be comparable like Falcon 9 and the Neutron from Rocket Lab, so they will be nice competitors from each other. And yeah, there is still no exact day or date for the first launch, but they are in a good position in terms of the development. So they already uh, have done some hopper tests,
Hmm.
and already back to September 2023. So they are in a quite in a long way in their test campaign. So yeah, there were some plans that they could launch already in 2025, but because of some delays, they moved it early 2026. But still, it's a good sign that they are almost there.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's quite interesting because, for example, the thrust chambers and the nozzles of the engines are 3D printed, so they turned to this way to use this technology, and it makes, of course, much cheaper the whole design and construction or the manufacturing costs. So yeah, and yeah, this second stage is quite interesting.
Very, very, very. It actually looks pretty cool. I am actually looking forward to this because I'm curious that if there will be any company that can be a real strong competitor for SpaceX. I know they are doing so good, and Falcon 9 is already a legend. And also, Starship is gonna be an even bigger legend if everything goes correctly. But there will be, I mean, Stoke is trying something really out of the book.
Hmm.
It's something that I think some companies were dreaming of. Maybe NASA was experimenting with, but this is a very cool solution. The only difference or only change I have to mention is that originally they were planning to use actual liquid cooling, sorry. But they don't. Okay, I lost my pen. Anyway, no more drawing for today. Maybe some people happy about it, but
Sad noise is coming up.
yes. But now they are gonna use a kind of conventional, traditional heat shield,
Mhm.
and so no liquid cooled heat shield. But yeah, hey ho. If that's the biggest problem, I think we can live with that. And what was the other thing I was mentioning? Oh yeah, a good rocket definitely need a good launch pad. I think we know that from the Starship example. So they are building a something that's we've seen somewhere. Oh, where did I see that? Oh yeah, it's pretty much like Pet 2.
Yeah, so it's not maybe it's some on Sundays is wise to turn back to the original and the good designed launchpad.
Hmm.
And yeah, you can see, or yeah, it's quite the same as the Pad 2 currently at the Starbase. So maybe SpaceX had the decision that maybe it's not a very bad thing
Yep,
to stick with the original things, and they don't have to figure out a brand new design which won't work. So yeah, it's an original and a proper launchpad.
indeed.
And yeah, I just uh, looked into the details. That will be the Launch Complex 14, and Terran R will be the Launch Complex 16. And now
Hmm.
I'm
You're clear.
satisfied. Yeah, I'm clear. So Stoke Space 14,
Check mark.
Relativity Space 16. So they will be neighbors actually.
Awesome. Okay, two more contenders left for 2026, and both of them are going to be Chinese. And let's start with the private company or the private side of the story. That's gonna be the Flaming Drag. No, 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 no. That's
Firebird.
Firebird. That's Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Flaming Dragon.
The Flaming Dragon. No, 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 that's different. So that's Land Space's rocket, and it's, well, we call it Chuchue 3 in Hungary, but I think it's called Zukwe,
Juku, but
hmm
let's
in
let's
English.
let's stay by Firebird 3.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a Chinese rocket. Of course, it's not not an exciting or not an surprise. So yeah, until end of beginning of September, they seemed to be on a good way, but there was a failure of the Firebird 2, last launch of Firebird 2, and maybe that shows that they will be just a bit slowed down in the development phase because it will use, I mean, the Firebird 3 will use the same engines like Firebird 2, and maybe they will just make a break and look into the details what was going on this last failure. And but anyway, they tried to introduce this rocket still in this year, but maybe we can be almost sure, 100% sure that it's not anymore an opportunity for them, or it's not feasible. But still, it's quite a good sign. And to be honest, if we are just watching the Chinese rocket companies, only this year there will be maybe still 3 or 4 rockets which will be introduced, and they will be almost all of them reusable. So they are far from the entire world already in the new plans, I mean. So that's why I mentioned at the beginning of this topic that it's a good sign that at least the American company is just ramping up, and they try to follow the Chinese developments. But what we can see that maybe China will have much bigger opportunities and maybe much bigger market in the next couple of years, because they will have even more rockets which will be reusable. And one of it, it's the Firebird 3, which is from the Land Space company. So it's a, yeah, again, it's a quite nice design, and they had some nice tests already, like in the early phase of the of the Falcon 9. So they have their own hopper, and they have conducted already a 10-kilometer hop already. So it was a very good and very big stepping forward in the development phase.
Hmm.
So they were the first Chinese company who could conduct this kind of test.
Hmm.
But after all, they are still in a good way. But now, because of the Firebird 2 failure, they had to slow down a bit. So we are not sure well when Firebird 3 will be introduced. But anyway, they are quite in on the first wave, or on the first yeah, they are in the first wave of the Chinese companies who
Hmm.
turn to the reusability.
Hmm. And to be fair, I think everybody who's a space enthusiast should be happy about it, because more companies, especially when it comes to Chinese rockets, uh, I think their infamous sort of appearance of falling first stages is not really a good one. That's not cool when first stages just fall back onto habited areas and falling onto people's heads.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should welcome this. This is great. This is, I think it's just fantastic that they are paying so much attention to reusability, and let's hope that more and more companies gonna come out with reusable rockets. And let's not forget that this is pushing the whole industry globally
Yeah.
towards reusability. I mean, Falcon 9s, they proved big time that reusability is the key for sustainable staying or being in space sustainably.
Mhm.
That's the way. If the price, the cost of going to space comes down, then that's the way forward. So yeah, let's look forward to this. And then the last
And
rocket. Yep. Sorry.
yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Maybe have to skip Viper for next week
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
we run
yeah.
out of time again.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we have one more rocket.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
maybe
that's
it's the most important rocket
mhm,
for the
for China.
Chinese
Yeah.
or China these days, because that will be the Long March 10, which will be the moon rocket of
Mhm.
the Chinese. And yeah, it will have two different versions. So there will be the Long March 10, which will have a cargo and a human rated version, but there will be a 10A version, which are on the sides. So there are actually the original Long March 10 will be three core stages like Falcon 9, but there will be another version of them, which is only one single core stage rocket. But the first stages will be, of course, reusable, and there are some rumors that they try to develop the second stage as well for reusable design later. But for now, because of they are in race with the US to back to the moon. Of course, China wants to go there for the first time, but
Mhm.
reach the North Pole, South Pole for the first time before US is there. So that's why they are just figuring out currently the first stage reusability, and they have conducted already two successful ground tests of the first stage, and it was actually a full duration and full duration static fire with all of the engines, all of the seven engines. So yeah, they are quite in a good pace with the development of the first Long March 10 rocket. And of course, they are aiming the moon landing before 2030. And there was, I guess, if I'm correct, there was already a news that they are aiming already for 29. And to be honest, they are on a good way to reach this target, because they have already a good test with the lander. They have a good test with the launch abort system, and now we could see two successful static fires with the first stage. So of course they are not so transparent like the US, most of the US companies, but there are some news from China which are quite impressive and quite positive. And of course uh, we are glad that they can move on, of course, and because of they're generating the competition between US, and it generates and ramp up the whole rocket market. So it's a good thing.
Indeed, and I think we covered this topic before that that actually this is going to be very interesting in the next few years, mainly because it looks like the US is trying to build some sort of some kind of more complicated way of getting to the moon, which is not only about the moon, but it's more about moon and beyond. But that's more difficult. And if the only question is who gets to the moon first or gets back in case of US, then probably it's gonna be China. But who's gonna do something that's kind of pointing further into the future, and a system that can do a lot more, a whole lot more than the Chinese system, then probably, if everything goes well, it's that particular rocket that's just right there. That's one of these prototypes. Hopefully, Starship gonna be, well, taking us humanity and US much closer, not just to the moon and Mars, but in terms of that dream that we're gonna become an interplanetary species. I honestly hope that you liked today's program. I think we ran out of time. We went
As
over
always.
our limit, as always. But we were always trying to do something, something that really is important for us, and apart from from the usual Starship stuff. So I honestly hope that you really liked what you see. Make sure you are subscribing to this channel, smash the like button. This is definitely a show of sign that what we do is something you like to watch, and just stay tuned because either this stream or the 24/7 stream is remaining on, and you will see the static fire on this particular channel. So yeah, definitely stay tuned with us. I don't know if anything else that I missed. Probably the fact that I can't read your name because it's Cyrillic, but road is blocked. Is anyone can
That's true. I can
That's
confirm.
true. Okay, so that's definitely great.
But that's the only step forward because currently the tank farm is still not ramping up so much. So if you're asking me, we have to wait at least 2 or maybe 3 hours for the static fire. So we won't wait here live, of course.
Now we are going.
And yeah, we are going and we are saying goodbye for now.
Yep.
And hopefully we meet next day, next week, next Monday, most of you. And thanks for watching us today.
Yeah. Have a splendid week, and hopefully we will be back next week. Stay tuned, like and subscribe, support. Have a lovely week. Take care, guys.
Bye bye.